Hi, welcome to a new video dedicated to a new aerial brushless platform. This is the JYU Hornet 2. I already reviewed maybe 1 year, close to 2 years ago, their first original model. And the concept of the JYU Hornet is to have a modular platform where you will be able to clip super easily either a 5.8 GHz FPV analog system or an HD camera, or here, like I have in this specific packaging, a 3-axis gimbal with a 4K camera. Okay, so a lot of people like this idea to have a modular system. So what we have today is the 4K system, and be aware, okay, on this information display printed front, it's written to have a 30 frames per second, but be aware you have two 4K model, okay, the 4K and the 4K Pro. So you can find all the list of different settings laterally. So for example, you have the standard edition with anything else than the flyer, okay, with the 4S battery. You can have up to 25 minutes of flight time. You have a pure camera machine with able to shoot 1080p 30 frames per second videos without any stabilization, and it's also broadcasting an analog 5.8 GHz system. So in the built-in transmitter you have also a 5.8 built-in receiver, and two other, okay, for 4K edition you have the classic aerial 4K. What I have only 18 minutes because you will have close to 200 grams with this 3-axis gimbal plus a 4K camera. But be aware the 4K is only at 20 frames per second, but we have 2.7K at 30 and 1080p at 60 frames per second. And now we have a Wi-Fi digital link, so you can control and monitor and set some settings thanks to the mobile apps. And I would say the more deluxe edition is the last one, where we have a real 4K 30 frames per second. The camera gimbal is even more lighter, okay, and well, so it should offer even more better videos. For all of them, you can add an accessories, which is a wrist tool, okay, so to have super precise and transportation and easy follow me function. So it's time to open this box, and I would say immediately for the first edition I was a little bit disappointed, mainly by the structure. It's full plastic based, and they were assumed to be also a racer. And how we can imagine that a 400-500 gram machine can resist to a massive crash, and because this machine is able to go up to 100-120 kilometers per hour. So, and different stuff, like most of Chinese companies, they were promising a lot of stuff, okay, as a multi-module, and they came very late and buggy. For example, for the Hornet 1, the gimbal system will decrease considerably the flight time to only 3, 4, 5 minutes because there was a bug in the voltage regulation part. So you will have to do some do-it-yourself modification, and they upgrade after and they fix in the other batch. So I'm not sure I received the full final release, okay, but anyway, it was the first I would say sample sent by Banggood, so I hope they received the final one. I think I have for some details, okay, but let's now discover all this box. Okay, here is the machine. So already pre-installed some element, but I will continue with the other elements, accessories. So associated with, you can find two sets of extra props. They are 5mm of diameters, pure circular, no specific, and I guess there are some 7-inch model. No specific pitch is written, okay, so basic, very basic, should be able to be replaced. Not a lot of free room, okay, between, so I don't think 8-inch should fit. What you can find also, this extra cap, okay, it's when you will want to use your JYU Hornet 2 in pure, I would say, flyer mode, so without any extra accessories. So you will replace this actual flat pads, okay, light translucid pads with this more longer one, and they will play the role of landing gears, okay. On the top of it, on the extremity, you can find a small plastic rubber band playing the role of landing feet. Okay, so what you can find also, a bag with a lot of accessories, and especially to attach the legs, the landing skid for the gimbal system. So one unique long screws here with an Allen key blocking the system here, and everything could be installed. A charger, and now it's designed to be a 4S compatible. Remember, for my first JYU Hornet, and the charger was broken, and a lot of people got the same time of problem, and especially a lot of had to design their do-it-yourself power lead cable to use a normal charger. Good news, at least with this one I was able to recharge it without any problem. So associated with, you have the power cord, okay, and it's ending with this proprietary connector. And well, no problem, you have a large arrow, so I can show you how to plug. So it's sometimes a little bit hard to extract the battery. It's already installed, so you will have to push both pads, plastic pad, but it's, I find, very hard to extract. It's for me a drawback, so I will try. Really super hard. Okay, you have to force a lot, but anyway, so you can find the corresponding power adapter. Just need to plug like this, and voila, and no possibility to be wrong to insert in the other way, because you have asymmetric pad installation. So in order to avoid a system, to avoid any problem. Like the other battery, if you short press on it, you will be able to check the current amount of remaining battery capacity, and if you short press and then long press, you will turn on the quadcopter. The same to turn off, you will need to short press, then long press more than 2 seconds to turn off everything. So good news, they fixed at least their charger, and it takes approximately 1 hour to charge the battery. So it's a large model, it's a 4S1. To be more precise, it's a 3650 mAh, and there is a 16.8 volt maximum. So not sure it's a LiPo, but maybe yes, it's a LiPo. It's a Lion polymer battery, so a little bit with the discharger a little bit more slower. For the full 4K version, they are planning to release another one, okay, with extra capacity but with lower discharge rate, no free lunch. So in order to extend your flying time, actually with the 4K, it's expected to be around 18 minutes, okay? So start to be correct. It's not reaching the Xiaomi Mi or the Phantom capacity, or even the Walker Vitus. Should turn about 22-23 minutes, but it's already not so bad. It's better than the Spark, for example. So let's continue. We have 4 prop guards, okay. Here one more time you will need some screws to attach them, and the transmitter. So actually it's really similar to the former one, but it's referenced as RD13, okay, and you will need to plug the USB cable, I forgot to mention, the micro USB port into the transmitter, and the large USB into the charger, delivering up to 2 ampere at 5 volts. So here one more time you can charge both the battery and the transmitter simultaneously thanks to this charger. So we have another out for the pure FPV solution, also shooting some 1080p video without stabilization. Another micro USB, probably to flash some firmware, etc. We'll probably show you in another part of the video. We have some F1, F2 button. Actually, no specific role assignment have been done on them. And we have 2 roll buttons here, shoulder button. So the right one is to control the pitch angle of your gimbal, and the one more the light control. Okay, you can completely turn off the light or accentuate the light illumination. So we have the classic button here where you have 3 modes of lights, okay. So one of them is to make some circle of light. It's very beautiful. Or another one is to varying between the blue and to red, etc. Here we have a button to, if you sharpen on it, you will be able to trigger some photos, and if you long press on it, you will start or turn off a video recording. The basic return to home button, okay, and here auto takeoff, auto landing, and the center one you have a 3-position one, okay. So in the medium we are in the classic, okay, but we have the manual in upper position, and here it's more for advanced flight mode. So to be resumed, everything can be controlled. So for each, I would say, first and the third mode, you can control, thanks to the apps or the PC software, the role of each associated to a role. So for example, in M position, you can assign, for example, to turn on and off the GPS stabilization, etc. So it will be described in the application later or in the field. We have some antennas. One is a 2.4 and the other one is a 5.8 GHz associated with the built-in video receiver. So the F1, F2 is also be used to select the VFREC, okay, of the built-in receiver. Okay, no other one, no screws are visible to these assemblies, but you will need to remove this big large rubber band to access to the screws to open it. Okay, and one more time, you have a phone holder, okay, where you will be able to attach up to a 5.8 inch FPV smartphone. No real possibility to attach a tablet. Anyway, you have here a neck strap holder, so probably you can attempt to attach the Phantom or Xiaomi phone holder, a tablet holder. I think it can be fitted here, so without any problem if you want to fly with a larger screen. Okay, so let's return a little bit to the machine itself. So already attached, and we have two antennas, okay. So the signal is broadcasted, the FPV signal in the Wi-Fi band, more precisely in the 2.4 GHz. Assumed to offer something about 500 meters of range. And good news also, they offer micro SD card, okay, here. So it's 16 gigabyte, one class 10, okay, where it's already here, but I will show you how to attach or detach. We have here two pads, lateral, like this. So just press on it and push forward, and you can unclip it, sorry. So we have the micro SD card. It's ScanDisk 16 gigabyte. It's class 10, okay, and it's I think a U1, is even not a U3. So I guess maybe for the 4K version they will deliver a pure U3 to enjoy maximum writing speed, okay, for the 4K resolution. So the gimbal module is pretty nice, okay. Really like the design with very beautiful curve, okay. The 4K and the field of view is assumed to be about 117, and for the full Pro edition is smaller. So I guess this one is should will shake. Maybe there will be some spherical distortion at the border, okay. It's a fact that must be checked. Okay, so I'm not completely sure that I have the final version of the camera version, because first of all, to enter the Wi-Fi password, I will show in an instant. In the instruction manual they say it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and in fact it was not working, and I had to use a password more working with the pre-release sample of the camera. So I'm not completely sure this is a final version of the camera system. Anyway, we have the possibility to, for example, to orient the antenna. So for example, one vertically and one horizontally is a good choice in terms of radio propagation. And here we have a small micro USB slot to probably update a firmware gimbal, or at least to have to run a software to calibrate the gimbal, because the calibration of the gimbal is an open question actually. So this micro USB port is only dedicated for the gimbal camera system. Okay, let's focus now on the JYU Hornet. And on front here we can find a micro USB port, where here you will be able to connect to the PC software, and also to be able to flash a new flight controller firmware or a new firmware for the receiver as well. Okay, so here everything is here. I will show how to proceed, how to connect, and which software to install and which driver, etc. Motors are some 22 type, 220405 to be more precise. Okay, can give you, so should be an external diameter of 28, some stuff like this, yes. And the shaft section is about 5 mm, so no problem to find some third-party props with higher pitch, for example, of some 3-blade edition, for example. No information about the AC, their capacity, if, for example, 3-blade won't draw too much current and burn built-in ESC. It's an information we have to know, we must know. Okay, so the machine standalone, I can give you already some information about the weight. I will remove, because I didn't screw them, the landing gear, and you will see that it's already relatively heavy. So standalone, without any battery, but with the prop install, we are already close to, let's check that, we're already close to 445 grams, and if I had the battery, ooh, it's already 807 grams. And imagine this one, okay, and the landing gears one is close to 14 grams, so we should be around, let's check that, 854. So it's a lot, okay, everything is falling, but already, so let's check that. Everything is very, I will explain more later about the structure of the JYU Hornet, but the quality of the plastic is great. I can say that immediately. It's the very polished one, high quality plastic for sure. So now it's sliding. So, okay, 854, and don't forget we have to add this, I will give you the information about the gimbal standalone. So I will use this battery as platform and tar. So individually the battery standalone is 361, and the gimbal system standalone is 216. So 854 plus 216, so we are close to 1 kilo 80 grams, okay, 1 kilo 80, so it's a lot, okay. So for example, it's much more heavier than the 1 kilo's limitation on the 200 gram limitation, and paradoxically it's close to the weight of a Xiaomi Mi drone and much more heavier than DJI Mavic or a Vitus, for example. So let's focus a little bit on the structure, and the other tie that they reinforce the structure by inside have a kind of tubular structure to reinforce any lateral shock. Don't be wrong with something about 800 grams, even in pure flyer mode. This machine won't resist to any crash above 30 kilometers per hour. Is mechanically impossible to resist whatever the structure they use. There is absolutely no carbon element, so in my point of view, the best option to use this machine is to have the 4K or even more the 4K Pro version. Don't dream to have a very I would say durable machine in pure flyer mode. It's impossible, and don't dream also in FPV. Okay, in a different mode, what you can be able to do is to disable the altitude hold or the GPS stabilization. You can fly in pure manual mode, but in any case you still have the 6-axis stabilization, no real acro mode, okay. But really I don't advise to fly this machine very fast, okay, without any gimbal, etc. This machine at the first crash will probably be completely disintegrated, okay, my point of view. And it's a machine without any additional module, already about $300, so it's not super cheap. So beware of that. I think the main interest of this machine is more as a video platform. Okay, so to turn on the radio, super easy. You have just to press this button. You have a power indication here of the remaining level, and here are the if you bind or not of the quadcopter. Here you have to play with the light, I already explained, okay, and here the different flight mode. So the radio is very easy to grab, the radio sticks movement very nice. If you are a pincher or a thumber, no problem, you have a lot of grab at extremity. A pretty good radio in my point of view for an RTF model. Okay, so that's at least a very good point. So now it's time to check a little bit the PC and application software. So as I said previously, I will first to be sure to remove the props in any danger. Okay, so really self-tightening props, so that's a really great news. So 5mm diameters. Okay, so counterclockwise is very classic, so can be done very easily. And I will turn on after the JYU. You will recognize the same type of music of the first model. So where is the battery? Just in front of me. Okay, so just need to clip it like this. And if you are flying without any extra module, you can just attach the battery, the slot cover like this, and to release, press like this, slide, and voila. Okay, so I will power the machine. So short press and a long press. Okay, you can hear this first boot. Then turn on the radio. Okay, so now it's bound. Okay, no problem like this. To use the Wi-Fi, you need absolutely to plug the camera module. So what I will do, so I will turn off everything. Okay, reinstall the landing gears. Okay, so be aware you have a sign. So you have R for right. Okay, so it should be like this. Okay, and L for left. Okay, and like this. So now I will replug the camera module. Super easy. Just start like this. Okay, and oops, sorry, more or less like this, and just slide rear like this, and you can hear the clips. It's done. So I will return on everything. So short press and then long press. Okay, now it's bound. You can see that the camera will did some movement to calibrate. Okay, and first bad news for my model. The camera is not perfectly straight. Well, in my point of view, well, here is not so bad. But actually, there is no software to calibrate the gimbal in case. So it's an open question. Can we be able to have this access to such software? Anyway, after a couple of seconds, you should see on your favorite tablet or smartphone. Okay, in the settings, you should see the Hornet 2 720p. Okay, and here the problem that if you enter the given password 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 is not working. So my actual working password is JYU 2016. Okay, so the I guess the original name of the JYU 2016. I will of course write it. So now it's done. When it's done, you will be able to connect. Okay, so where to download the software? Of course, if you are in Android, you can type JYU drone. I can remember well. In any case, the application is already installed. So this is the where is install? Install it recently. The JYU. Okay, so JYU software, and the first one you will access to it. You can check the current version. So this is the last version 2.9. Okay, but you can check without first plug your device. Check you have the last one. So you have the instruction manual, for example, and they say, for example, to connect blah blah blah, you have to give the password 1 2 3 etc., but it's not working. So this is why I'm explaining. I'm not sure I have the final version of the gimbal system. So I will select here the Hornet 2, okay, and it should connect after a couple of seconds with this new password, JYU 2016. It's connected, and after I've got a message, and I will be able to monitor everything. So I will read, okay, and here is the video feedback. So since I'm inside, I got a poor GPS signal, it's clear, and like some DJI or I will say Epson, you can switch between the map view and the camera view like this, so it's great. You have also pictures and pictures, that's great. It's not displaying the map because I need to activate the GPS location of my tablet, but if you do it offline, there is absolutely no problem. So we can turn on a classic. The camera is by default, so if you press on the camera, you will be able to then press recording. We have a red square right now, and if you stop, return to the full red cycle, you have an open media where you can check photos or video recorded. Okay, that's great. And here you have a status where you can return to the previous menu, okay, and then return here. Okay, we have the GPS with 5 bar, so when you have 5 bar, you receive the maximum number of satellites. The current state of the GPS, pure actually, since indoor and standby. Okay, so I guess it's linked also with the position of your transmitter, the quality of the transmitter link, okay, full, because I'm very in proximity, the level remaining of the battery, and the settings. So we have a lot of settings, and the first time they enter and retrieve all the default one. So for example, for the quadcopter, we have the F mode. So the F mode is when your camera is on the bottom position like this, okay, and you can select either the headless mode if you press like this, or the waypoint mode. So if you want to design, for example, a trajectory mode, previously done offline or online, and here is the watch mode. So if you are wearing the wrist mode, it will be nothing else than the following mode. Okay, and in M position, so when it's an upper in the first one, you can also select the altitude hold, okay, or M Pro. It's more professional one where you don't have any assistance, for example. So this one can be used if you want to fly fast, okay. So you can turn in M position and select the M Pro, and it will disable any GPS and altitude or stabilization, okay. So I will return in P position, the middle one. So you can select the flying limits, the takeoff 8, by default it's 5 meters, I will reduce it to 3 meters, but no problem. You can select the return 8, 20 meters, max climb, etc. Different settings, very nice. And the last one is pretty nice. By default, when the battery is a very low condition, okay, so there is some alarm. I will turn on the AC as activity. Okay, I will be in manual, and I will be able to turn on. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so now they will stop to emit some heat. Okay. So now, when the batteries, I'd say I can't remember well, but we will see in a few instants, at the nominal values, it will automatically return to home. But if you want to perform super long range, is maybe dangerous, you can turn off this option. So in terms of transmitter, you can calibrate the joystick through the application or select mode 1 or mode 2. Battery, we have all the remaining level, and look that we have a low battery alarm for the first at 20%. So it means that at 20% it will engage return to home actually, but you can decrease it, and severe low battery alarm. So I guess it's an emergency landing at 10%. We have the setting of the camera, that's the more important. So with my version, I can select the 4K at 20 frames per second, 1080p at 60, 720p at 120, and 2K at 30 frames per second. I will immediately raise caution. In my point of view, this camera is playing with the interpolation, because I'm not sure the native resolution is 4K. So I'm afraid about that, and we will check the quality in the field. I'm not impressed with the 1080p, okay, and 2.7.1. You can select the photo size up to 16, okay. One drawback, I observe that if I select, for example, 2.7, the settings after I reboot the application are not saved, at least for the camera version. That's a drawback. Let's check now the different settings. We can select the meter or inch, a Google map or a map, okay, and it's very important. We can calibrate the compass. So to calibrate the compass is pretty easy. You have to turn clockwise, first horizontally, okay, then the light will turn to a green, and then put nose up, okay. Usually it was nose down for a lot of quadcopter. This one is not nose up, and you turn like this, also clockwise, and after all the light will be a flash, will stay constant green, and it means that it's done, and you will need to reboot your system. Very important. You can calibrate the level, okay, and reset all the settings. Nothing else, okay, in the application. Relatively common. I don't think yet, don't see yet any flight formation. So in the flight mode, you can select either the satellite, okay, view, or the map. You can target your position, okay. For example, here you can have the true north orientation with, and here this is the features, okay, not yet implemented. I guess one day there will be a kind of mission planning, okay. Actually, it is not yet a problem. So the interface is relatively nice, okay. We could dream to have a mission planner relatively soon. The FPV feedback, I'm not impressed. It seems that we have something more in VGA resolution, okay. You can see, for example, the border here are very with a not sharp line, so I'm not impressed. It seems to be in VGA resolution, even not in 720p. So the FPV link is also able to be around up to 500 meters. This is why they prefer to reduce the FPV quality feedback of your tablet. So now it's time to check also the PC software, okay. Check if we have some firmware update to do, okay, and after go in the field. Okay, so it's time to check the PC software. So you have to go to the JYU English web pages here at this URL, and then go to the support, okay, and then click on download. Here you have two specific sections associated with the Hornet S1 and 2, okay. So you have to download this PC software, should available for both Windows 7, 8 and 10, okay. And then when it's done, you will have this file here. So you will need to install it. So I strongly advise from now to install or run everything in administration mode. So you have to right click if you are on Windows and run as administrator, okay. So when it's done, you will have to install everything, and it will install the software as well as some driver, more or less some VCP STM driver. So I will change the default folder, okay. I will install more in program file, okay, like this, and when it's done, I will click on install, and as you can see, it's installing some Qt third library API, because the graphic user interface is probably Qt based. And then after this installation of the main software, it will try to install the STM VCP driver, so you have to click on finish. Then you will have to install some specific driver, okay, and then you have this installation. So if you don't have such kind of driver, no problem, but here I already did it some time ago, so I said that I've got already a more recent software installed. I will click on finish, okay. Then you will have this DOS Windows, click on it, type twice the return key, and it will be you can quit on it. So now you have here logo appearing. I will shift it around, okay, and then you can run the software by right-clicking, okay, and execute as administrator as well. So okay, he said it's synchronized. Yes, you reply yes, and you have this software. Okay, so don't worry for the display because it's linked with my specific ZenBook where there are some mismatching between the HD resolution. Okay, so some ref font are not well scaled into the right size. But it should be very beautiful. Anyway, you have the parameters panel, the main one. You can set, for example, the light. Okay, so for example, you have the breathing mode where you have a sequence of different color. I would say pink, green, blue, red, transparent white, blue, etc., etc. So you can change individually, for example, each color. But the best is how to plug your computer. So you need to plug your micro USB slot here, okay, the battery, okay, so I will return the battery. Then you will need to first power on the quadcopter. So short press and long press. You can hear this beep and wait one more time. Okay, and when you hear this triple sound, you can now plug to your USB into your computer now. And if everything is okay, you have this USB folder where you have a lot of log recorded. Okay, probably you can delete them, but there are all the log of all your flight, I guess. And then you will have automatically the COM appearing if the STM driver is correctly installed here available. So click on connect. And then you have all the settings done, already appearing and configured. So we have low power auto return off, beginner mode is turned off, professional mode is more turned on. So more probably linked with the disabling the GPS altitude stabilization. We have the altitude hold, the takeoff, etc. So you can change everything. You can calibrate, for example, and you have the current firmware installed, so 2.69, and the current aircraft ID. So I don't know what does it mean, but you can change more or less exactly the same setting that in the application. So no, except the light where it's only available on the PC software. I think all other can be tuned also through the Wi-Fi application. We have the remote set, so in this case you will need to plug more the remote into the USB, okay, and then you will be able to press on RC Connect and calibrate as well. And we have some documentation, so we can access directly the instruction, tutorial video, the version of the software, actually the version 1.1, this is the last. If you click on update, you can check if there is a new software, PC software, actually is the last. And here you can also update your driver, but no need to install. So the main question is, can we update the firmware? Okay, and you absolutely need to be to run this software as administrator to upgrade, to press the upgrade button. If it's not, the server won't respond and you won't have any message. So actually the firmware is 269. I think I've got already did, so I will press OK. So it shouldn't upgrade it. So I've got update fade because it's already the same one. We have the if I press on the firmware of the receiver, I got the version 0.77. solve the pan tilt, do not repeat code 1 the code bug. Okay, I don't know. I will press OK. And also there is an update fail. I don't know why. Okay. Maybe I will need to run the Hornet in a specific way. And if I plug first the remote, I could be able to run the upgrade. So as you can see, there are some 2 update fail. Okay, and I will try to show you maybe to enter into the flashing procedure mode. So I will quit the software, disconnect. Okay, turn off everything. Okay, then now I will plug first the USB. Okay, so now it's plugged, and then I will turn on the quadcopter. So short press and long press, and in this case we have some flashing, okay, boiling lights. So one more time I will run the Hornet 2 as administrator. Yes. Okay, and click on firmware. So now I will click, for example, receiver firmware upgrade. I will press here. Okay, and now if I press OK, it's downloading. And for the first time is installing the driver dedicated to flash the firmware. Okay, and now it's updating. Okay, so it's working. So be aware. Now I've got the upgrade successful. So I will try to attempt the same stuff for the flight control board. Okay, 269, but I should have the same, so I don't really need to update. So I think this is why he refused to update. Okay, so now I was only able to flash the receiver firmware, maybe to correct some stuff linked with the gimbal. So we did the tour more or less of the PC software, where you will be able to flash for the first 2 the flight controller firmware and the receiver. If you plug first the remote control, and if you plug the wrist controller for the follow me function, you can also upgrade it. We have also a model, but it's nothing else than also to upgrade the firmware of the controller. So it's a little bit redundant with this panel of the firmware. So I think now I did all the tour. I will check that I still bind. So in any case, I will show how to bind the machine. The trick is to press both buttons simultaneously and while turning on, and within the first 5 seconds turn on the quadcopter, and it will turn the radio into binding mode, and it will bind with the JYU. If you lost the bind, maybe by flashing the new firmware of the receiver. Okay, now it's time to check all the performances. Okay, and I'm trying to find a way to eventually calibrate the gimbal. That's very important. See you in the field. Hi, welcome to the first demo flight of the Hornet 2. So the first 4K edition, not the Pro version, with I will say a basic 4K 25 frames per second. So I will fly in my favorite beach spot, okay, and I will try to capture, of course, both the FPV feedback signal recording on the Android application. It's assumed and known that the Android is a little bit more stable than the iOS, actually. I guess just a question of update. I've got the last firmware of the flight controller board, receiver, as well on the radio command. Okay, and well, I will see if we still have the promised 18 minutes. Okay, and for this 1.1 kilos machine, a little bit heavy. Anyway, I perform the compass calibration. In any case, if you want to do it in the field, you have to push the sticks like this, and rear light will flash fast, and you will have to turn slowly horizontally clockwise, and nose up to turn also clockwise, and the green light should stay solid after the end of the calibration. And it's very important to turn off everything to take into account the successful compass calibration. Okay, so I will now turn on everything, wait the GPS, and I'm receiving enough satellite to take off. Let's go. Okay, so I will turn on my screensaver. Sorry. And then go to the Wi-Fi setting. I'll turn on all the quadcopter as well, the transmitter. So I will turn on, go to the settings, okay, and try to capture the yes, okay, and then oh sorry, Wi-Fi. So it's connected to the Hornet automatically. It's connected, so I will be able to run the software right now. So go to my specific JYU software, okay, and it will run. So I will select the it's automatically done, okay, and then I can press on start. Yes, and I should collect the signal easier. So be aware, my gimbal is not perfectly on axis. There is a small drift bias, okay, so I'm waiting for the gimbal software to calibrate and to level everything. And how to flash firmware, gimbal firmware is still an open question. So I will turn on the camera mode, okay, and I will try to show you the different settings, retrieving the configuration values, okay. Go to the camera, and I want to finally to shoot videos. First I will attempt in 4K 20 frames per second maximum resolution. Then I will probably land and take off in 1080p 60 frames per second. So I want to show you the maximum camera resolution. So it's done. I will also update 16 megabyte for the photos, okay. And as I said in my unboxing, each time you will have to reconfigure your camera setting. It's a little bit annoying that this information are not stored somewhere in the apps or in the drone. So you can alternate between the different view of the Google Maps. It's working fine, okay, as you can see, so no problem. And what I really like, you have the both view available. That's great. So I will press recording, because the GPS signal seems to be here, maximum. GPS signal is normal, okay. I will press recording. I've got the small red square, okay, with animation. I will arm, you have to push both stick in air. I will check that I am in P position, normal. So I should have everything. And voila. Okay. So, you know, I will try to check the altitude hold stabilization. Works pretty well, okay. What I would like in the interface is the number of receive satellite. We just have a progression bar. You know, I like to turn on myself the first time to improve the stabilization, okay. So I should have such stuff. I will turn off the light, so you can play with the left port, okay, and you can turn off directly the light, okay. And sounds to be good. And I will try to fly now. And while the FPV feedback is not so bad, fly beautifully. So I will try to show you the maximum speed. The machine is relatively silent, so it's the sunrise, so the sun is just front, okay. So you can see how the camera sensor is handling the light. The FPV feedback is not bad, but what I would like is to be able to install a more larger screen, because actually it's limited more to 5-inch, 6-inch model maximum. Okay, I will try to climb a bit some altitude. The FPV feedback is great. I'm 20 meters high almost. 22 meters. And it's relatively stable. Let's make a tour of the panorama. Okay, look beautiful. 30 meters high, more or less. Yes, exactly 30 meters. And try to. So we try to play with the right dial to control the gimbal. Yes.
and the control is pretty smooth. I really like. So the FPV feedback sounds super beautiful. Okay, so no problem at all, and well, beautiful spot as you can see, and really I like. Oh, you know what I'm trying to see actually? Your current trajectory is actually designed, okay, in real time, so that's great. And the FPV signal is not bad at all. So as said in my unboxing, we are something about in QVGA format, some stuff in VGA format. I don't think it's a 720p preview. Maybe I'm wrong. Well, here on this smartphone, the screen display is smaller, so I don't see too much the pixelization effect, okay, of the VGA. So if you saw already some of my video, you know this spot is where Napoleon stories start everything, where he won his first battle, I would say, is exactly here. Okay, and look the panorama, very beautiful. 17% of battery, it's good. Let's try to go. The FPV range is pretty good. No problem of link. Relatively smooth, not really enjoyable, and the FPV feedback is pretty good, so no problem. Try to climb a bit. Pretty beautiful spot, yes, and the sunrise is now here, so well, what I regret is actually on the apps there is no possibility to tune any setting on the camera, for example the EV, the exposure, shutter, etc. So I hope one day there will be a firmware where you will be able to adjust such element. But it's very beautiful. We're positively surprised. The stabilization sounds pretty good. So I hope there is no micro vibration, only the rendition. Okay, but it's flying superbly. Huh? It's super smooth. Okay, today I would say it's completely wind free, so it's pretty good. Look at that, how stable this machine. It's not a super fast machine in GPS, but we don't care. It's a video platform actually, so it's not the sportive mode, so we don't care. So look at that. I will try to play with the gimbal. You know, I will play with the doors I used to play. We can see the details of the camera because there are a lot of different colors there, and we will be able to see the work of the stabilization. Look at that. It's relatively stable. I'm really impressed. I will just be a little bit higher, okay, but good job of the GPS stabilization. Look at that. I can feel some micro jellos on the video, so I hope it won't be very visible on the result of the 4K screen. You know what I will do? I will stop recording, okay, and I will try to change the settings to 10 ATP. And the camera, oh, what is doing? Oh my god. Time out. I will try to set the settings. Yes, now it's done, and I will try to Okay, and now I am in 60 frames per second, I should be, and I will turn on the camera right now. So I will try to make a fast movement to see the effect of the 60 frames per second, so maximum speed, in more or less low altitude. Fly beautifully. Look at that. A really nice machine. Checking the battery, not bad at all. So let's go to the rock there. I will go down a bit. Unfortunately, the sun is super. I cannot see on the screen itself, but look at that. Yes, superb. Look at that. We can make some very nice panorama tour, ascent rate. Very beautiful while playing with the gimbal. Look great. So to be honest, I was expecting something much more worthy, but I will say I will make a conclusion about the video quality, because in my point of view, okay, I will be honest, this is a multi-modular platform, okay, but for me the we'll say the 1080p module is almost useless, because first you don't have any electronic stabilization, okay, and the 1080p FPV module is used to transform the Hornet 2 into an FPV platform, but this one won't resist to any major crash, so is I would say completely stupid choice, okay. So for me the unique one is more of the 4K video platform choice, okay, like I'm playing, and probably the Pro version will offer even better result. Look, this restaurant is actually closed for winter time, but very beautiful spot. Okay, 39%. We have some voltage alarm set to 22%. It will start to engage return to home. The flight time is not bad at all. Okay. Relatively silent machine. Really enjoyable. I can maybe get some micro vibration, so I hope complete new firmware could maybe improve a little bit the stuff. You know, the gimbal system is a little bit original. You don't have any system with 4 dampening ball like most of the gimbal. It's a one unique central one, very original. So amortizing in 2 axes, okay, you have a kind of circular rubber element, okay, making the dampening, okay, but as you can see in the descent some micro vibration, so with some jello effects, so we will see in the descent, but to be honest it's not bad at all. Concerning the camera, I'm mostly wondering if it's a true 4K, at least for the non-pro version, because I observe, and you will see probably in the 1080p videos, a lot of pixelization, okay, so I'm afraid that there is some interpolation, some I would say some trick, okay, but look how the machine is stable. So here no object avoidance and so on, okay, so be aware of that. We can regret no selfie mode, so why not to have some visual living or some stuff like this, okay. 25%, yes. I think I will start to engage the landing. but it's not so bad. Okay, so I will try to land. I will stop recording first. Okay, and then land slowly. Yes, great. So everything is here. Well, very pleased with the first maiden flight. The flying duration, okay, 21%. So after maybe a couple of minutes, it will engage a return to home. I think I should have only 3 or 4 minutes remaining, but it's not so bad. We have something about 13-14 minutes, which is not so bad. Okay, the advertising was 80 minutes. Of course, it was exaggerated, but it's more or less competitive to the DJI Spark. Well, in terms of flight time, we will see in terms of stabilization. We have a 3-axis. We will see the rendering of the camera. I'm a little bit afraid that for lower resolution there are some interpolation, some stuff like this, and I didn't find super precise and sharp image on the background. I'm afraid also there are some spherical deformation, okay, on the border, okay, linked with the lens. This one, I will turn off the machine, okay, and I will stop recording here. Okay, well, now it will be done. Okay, and I'm afraid that the non-pro version of the 4K got a field of view of 120 degrees, so probably integrating, offering unfortunately some, I would say, some spherical distortion. On the border, the pro version got a narrow field of view with probably without any distortion, so it could be even better. The pro version offers full 30 frame, 1080p at 60 or 120, even more, I would say. So really not bad. So probably a more powerful video chip. Okay, so positively surprised. Actually, it's flying smooth. The GPS stabilization is working well. What is missing? But some advanced flight mode. You need absolutely the wrist module to enjoy follow me, okay? But what I would like to show you is the all the trajectory I did, okay? And you can retrieve the flight logs. Just look that, okay? I hope you will be able to see. You will be able to enjoy all the flight, repeat the flight you just done by probably loading the log file somewhere into a software. That's pretty cool. What is missing, at least with the interface, all the camera parameter settings, EV, shutter, some stuff like this. You just add the video resolution and the picture resolution, that's all. What I would like also maybe to be able to control the tilt with the left dial, okay, instead of the light, and should be configurable through the an update of the software and the firmware. Should be great. The radio is good, the video link is good, the radio transmission is good, so at least for this point it's solid. Mission planner, some selfie flight mode, at least if you don't have the wrist module, okay. So it's lacking some advanced flight mode compared to some other competitor. I would say especially the Xiaomi drone, because this one for me is a direct competitor of the Xiaomi Mi drone. This latter is cheaper, got now more mature firmware and software. So for instance, the Xiaomi Mi drone is still far away better than this one, but there's a lot of room of improvement. So currently I'm more positively surprised by the result that I was expecting. Okay, so I would say almost good job, but work in progress. Some improvement must be done, and then we'll be able to start this machine will be able to start a competitor from at least the Xiaomi drone. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this first video. Okay, some other will come soon. It was a maiden fun. If you like it, please sub it, and if you like my channel, please subscribe. See you next time. Bye bye.